Wow, that's really dark. There we go. Okay, that's a bit better. So I know the lighting over here isn't great, but it's way more comfortable to sit over here, although less comfortable with the light being like right in my eyeballs. And I don't feel like going over there and like sitting on my knees for 40 minutes or whatever. Also, look at my t-shirt. This is the sweater. What am I talking about? It's actually getting kind of warm, but you know, I can't take my shirt off because then I'd be naked. Yes, so this is my end of the week vlog for my second week of school. It's like my first full week, but like last week I was there for 3.5 days. This week I was there for 5 whole days. So yeah, that was okay. I wrote down a lot of the pointers that I wanted to make in this little book right here. It changes colors of my face. If I just hold it here, can you see me better? I don't know. There's a light on over here, but I don't think it's actually changing the light much. So, oh, it is, but I'm turning it off anyways. Like, how do I do this? That's how I do this. Okay. Alrighty. So, this was a eventful week. So we'll start with Monday, because I don't remember what happened over the weekend. But on Monday, like over the weekend, we found out that my brother had strep throat. So Monday he actually got an appointment and he got some pills for that. And so that was kind of like, because I have a tiny fear of, you know, germs and stuff. Not really that tiny, but, and so that was like, let's add more stuff to that whole anxiety thing that I've got going on right now. And then so I went to school. My day was pretty fine. I didn't go outside for lunch because of the whole I don't want to get suspended thing. Like, just I kind of don't want to get suspended, at least not at the beginning of school. Later, if I can make a case for why, then maybe I would do that. So after school, my friend wanted me to go to the GSA meeting. I had gone to the GSA meeting once before the previous school year, and I didn't find it very enjoyable, but it was my first time going to that school, so I didn't know anybody, and it was more meeting than it was like just chilling and hanging out, which is what I thought it was going to be, but my friend was going to be there, so it would be fine, right? So I came into the room where I thought it was going to be, and I knew the teacher, so I was like, oh, it'll be okay. And then the teacher was like, oh, it's not today, I'm leaving. And I was like, oh, well. So I went into, so then there was somebody else there, and they were like, oh yeah, it's canceled, but you can come to the AIU meeting in the library. And I was like, because again, I didn't know where my friend was. They were a little like, you know, it doesn't start right away, so they weren't really late. I'm just always early to things, and I didn't know where they were, so I was starting to get like a little bit worried. But I went in there. I didn't really want to be in there, and I had texted my mom like, come pick me up. I'm not staying here anymore. And so then my friend came in, and then they were like, I thought this was the GSA because they didn't even know that it was canceled. So then they left. And then I left a little bit after that, but I didn't really know where they'd gone, so I didn't really follow them. And then I waited outside for my mom to come pick me up, and so I was kind of upset, but I didn't, like, cry till I got home, because that would be awkward. And my friend was also upset. I don't know if it was for that reason or for another reason, but then, yeah, so we had all of our crying and upsetness. And so then I was upset, and so then I texted them something about, it was like a very insensitive thing to say, but at the time I didn't really think that it was insensitive, and then they decided to stop talking to me, which I understand, and it's perfectly fine for that to happen. And then I saw a post later that was just like explaining why what I had said was insensitive and how it was like actually really rude. And I was like, oh, I didn't even realize that. And so like I tried to apologize because I technically wasn't supposed to have read the post, but I did. So I like tried to apologize in an inoffensive way. I don't know. But anyhow, that was that day, and it was like, it was not a, like, the ending of it was kind of not good. It was, yeah. And so then I have a different person who I talk to when I'm upset, just because I don't really have anybody else to talk to, and so I tried to talk to him for a little bit, and he got mad at me. I don't even know why. So, yeah. I don't really have, like, I can't just talk to somebody about it because the people that I have their numbers for are my friend who is already upset and this person who isn't very good at helping me deal with stuff but is nice enough to at least not ignore my texts all the time. Because I don't really have the numbers of anyone I had their friends, and yeah, I don't know if they would, like, listen to anything I'm saying anyway. I kind of want to get, like, a dating app just so that I can, like, send sad messages to people or something. I think you have to be 18, though, so I don't know. But that was Monday, and yeah, so then on Tuesday, I was still, like, really upset, but I didn't really know how to act around that person, so I don't know, I tried to be normal, and the person also had something, like, very stressful going on that day. They had a doctor's appointment, and so I didn't bring it up really that much, and they didn't, like, their doctor's appointment didn't really go that well, except for that they might be able to go off a medication that wasn't working very well for them, so they were still upset that day too, and yeah. There's so much drama in my life. It's great. So then I was kind of very, very upset. And so my mom was like, hey, we haven't gone driving for a while. We should go driving. So she had me drive in the country highways. And then there was somewhere she wanted to go. But she didn't tell me where it was that we were going. She was like, oh, we're going to turn down here. But then she didn't tell me what we were turning at. So then I had to stop really quickly, and we almost got in an accident. And so then I was upset by that and by other things, and so then I was crying. So she went into the store, and I sat in the parking lot and cried. And then we did some more driving, and I cried while driving. And I expected it to be kind of difficult, but it actually wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. It wasn't easy, but it wasn't as hard as I would thought it would be. Yeah, so that's the thing. And, like, I don't know, anxiety. I very much think I should try and get meds for this because I don't normally cry this often, and so far we've had 2 crying fits this week and 2 crying fits last week, and yeah. So let's see, Wednesday. So Wednesday I think was just a fine day, but then I was talking with my friend about just general stuff, and I made a little drawing that I put up on the internet, which sort of describes basically our relationship, and I'll see if when I'm editing this, I'll put it over here. And it's a drawing of 2 people hugging, and then above that there's the personifications of their demons, or, like, I don't know. So, I'm trying to think of how it would look. So I think if it's facing you, I guess, I don't know. But one place there's anxiety, and so they each have an anxiety demon, and they're standing across from each other and pushing, and in between them they have a heartbeat, and so what I was trying to illustrate with that is, like, they're pushing the heartbeat so it gets faster and faster and faster, which is kind of like, I don't know, anxiety. And then there were 2 sort of skeletons with different heads to illustrate different progressions of eating disorder related things, pointing at each other and like admiring each other's bones. And then there was a person on, like, in the top, there was a person on all fours with stripes all over them, and a person standing up straight holding a knife, and across that person standing up's face was, "I want to be a tiger too," which is to illustrate like depression and self-harm. And so the whole picture was just sort of like, then it had a caption, it's something like, "Our demons get along so well, you'd think we'd be the perfect couple." And it was sort of to illustrate, like, there's a saying, and it's something like, my demons don't play well with others, and that's why I have a hard time getting in relationships or something. But I was like, what if your demons play so well together that it makes it even worse? Because if they play off each other and feed off, like, the other person's demons, then it just makes it worse to be in a relationship with that person instead of making it better. So that my friends saw that and they were like, "Oh, you talking about us?" Which I was. And so I was explaining, like, I kind of am afraid to be in relationships because that usually happens and I don't want to hurt anybody. And they were like, "Oh, well, you could never hurt me." This being the person who I made really upset 2 days ago. And I was like, "Are you sure?" And they were like, "Yeah, I promise." And I kind of don't get that. Maybe they just didn't blame me for it, for what I did, but I do blame me for that because I said something that was, like, really rude and insensitive, and I should not have done that. And yeah. So anyway, that's Wednesday. Let's see if there's anything else. I have one here. So then Thursday, I saw, in the morning, I saw a post and it was like, should I ask someone out, yes or no, from that friend? And I'm pretty sure they were talking about me. But then, I know, that didn't really happen, obviously, because they got to school and realized they'd sent a bunch of messages to the wrong person when they were really upset the previous day or something. And so then they were really worried about getting reported because stuff. And I had forgotten my lunch, so that was a great beginning to the day. And later on, they weren't allowed to go outside that day because of stuff. So I ate lunch with them in a teacher's room, which was nice because, I hadn't seen them that much for a while. But then after they got taken out of school because they had a really bad panic attack, and so they were in the ER for that, and like a teacher like left school to go see them, and I was like, I so wish that I could have gone with them. I don't know if I would have actually made anything better or not, but I like to think I could help somehow. And they were at the ER to see if they were going to have to get readmitted to the mental hospital that they were at, and they didn't get readmitted. They came home, but then the next day they were really upset all day because, and this is like what I heard from their perspective, it seemed like this is what I think would happen. The people who were originally helping this person out and helping them deal with like feelings and stuff got upset at them for having a panic attack and going to the emergency room, A, or for not going back to inpatient, B. And I don't know which one it is, but either way, they felt like everyone there was upset at them, and so they wanted to go home from school, but they couldn't, so they spent the whole day just like really upset, and I feel really bad for them, and yeah. And so then today, they are also still upset, and it's great. And I'm going to have to be gone for a few days in next week. Like, I'm going to be gone for 5 days. And I don't want to be gone. I want to be here to, like, actually be useful. I don't know. So, now let's talk about actually school, because we haven't talked about school. So in art class, we're drawing skeletons with charcoal. I think the first day we worked on, Friday we worked on sketching body proportions and stuff, and I was the model. So then my teacher was like, you need to do some extra sketching. So then Sunday, I sketched a bunch of people from my church. So there's a bunch of like sketches in my notebook, my art book, and I kind of feel a little bit guilty about doing them just because they take so little time and fill up so much space. I feel like I'm wasting paper, but I don't know about that. Um, we had my art teacher actually looked at my YouTube channel and watched the video that I made about sewing the sundress, which has been up for only a little bit. Well, now it's been up for a while. Sorry, allergies, etc. stuff. Oh, and by the way, at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that my brother had strep. So a few days after we found out he had strep, my sister started showing symptoms, and so my mom called our doctor, but our family doctor prefers to just prescribe meds ahead of time and sort of prevent things. So we got a prescription for my sister and I to have the pills. So I've been taking pills and I haven't actually gotten strep, which I'm really thankful for because that means I haven't had to miss more school than I already am going to have to for being gone for those 5 days. Because my dad next week, he has a convention on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday or something. So we're going to a convention and then we're going to do some college touring. He's taking me to OSU on Monday, I think. And in the morning, I'm getting a tour of the art department. In the afternoon, he's getting a tour of the science department. And then in the evening, he's giving a lecture on metallurgy, and I get to eat pizza. And then the day after that, I don't really know what we have planned in the morning, but in the afternoon, we're going to do a tour of the Columbus Art School college thing. So that's going to hopefully be nice. Anyhow. Back to school. So in my in my science class, it's botany, and so we've mostly been doing labs. We do a lot of labs, and so I'm kind of worried about, like, usually I wouldn't be worried about doing science makeup work, but we're doing so many labs and not many notes that I'm gonna have to spend a lot of my, like, before school, after school, study hall time in the science room doing makeup labs, or getting it from somebody else in my group, but I think I'm like the only one that actually cares in my group and maybe in the class, so I don't know how that's going. But we did a fruit dissection lab and a flower dissection lab and a pollen lab, which may or may not have been the same thing. And so we also did a seed lab, and we're like halfway through that. So in our fruit dissection lab, it'd be easier if I had my notebook here, but she's grading them. The teacher's grading them this over the weekend, so I don't have it. But we dissected, my group dissected a peach, and no one knew how to open a peach. Like, you cut around it like this, twist, and then open it. So yeah, we dissected. We cut them in half. So we cut a peach, a tomato, and then there was a strawberry, a raspberry, and I think there was one other thing. And so in that fruit lab, we were allowed to eat them after we wrote down stuff. So peaches are drupes, and then raspberries are like a subcategory of a different kind of fruit, but they're basically each little bit of a raspberry, each little nobule thing is its own fruit, and then they're all stuck together, which I found really cool. And then strawberries aren't even technically they're a fruit, but most fruits, the fruit part is the ovary, and then the seed is the ovule turning into a seed. But on strawberries and stuff in that class, the strawberry is actually part of the receptacle, which is the stem, and the seeds aren't even seeds. So there's something completely different, and I don't remember what they're called, but I just thought that was really cool. And then we did a seed lab where we cut open things to look at their seeds. So my group had an avocado, which was not fresh. And then there was squash. there was papaya, there was this, like, interestingly weird vegetable, and it kind of looks like a butternut squash, except so butternut squash is shaped kind of like that. Like, it's got a round end and sort of a cucumber-ish end. And so if you basically think of the round end more like squished in and the cucumber-ish end more squished out, so it's just sort of like more of like a triangle kind of, but it's rounded, kind of like that. And then the ends of it look like cabbages, but the middle of it looks like a squash, and it's like this pale green color, and it's like chapate or something. It sounds like chipotle, but it's a different word than that, and I think it's Mexican. I didn't try it. Then there was a rambutan. Somebody dissected a rambutan. It had like, it's really spiky on the outside, but the inside is very white. And I didn't try that, but there was dragon fruit, which I did try, and it sort of looks like a potato crossed with the bark of a palm tree, and then it's red. When you cut it open on the inside, it looks like a white kiwi, and it also kind of tastes like a kiwi, except that if the kiwi was made of sugar water, I guess. I don't know if I'm being very helpful. People say I'm not very good at descriptiveness, so I don't know. Then in English, no, this is not. Yeah, in English, we're reading different things, annotating them, and then I'm really not good at annotation, so that's my goal for English classes, to get better at annotation. And in the... Yes. Okay. Sorry, I got confused. In my first block, which is speeches, I can't remember if I talked about this last week or not, but so we got to know our teacher a little bit better. He talked a lot about what he's done this whole, he was a politician and he did a lot of things. He said that you can have so many careers in your life. You could have 8 careers in a few years, and I thought that was kind of inspiring, because it's you don't have to do just one thing with your life. And he's from Russia, and in Russia you do have to do that, but we're in America, so we have the freedom to actually do anything we want to, which is kind of inspiring. He gave us a lecture on chapter 1, but at the beginning of his lecture he was at the beginning of his lecture he was if some people look at public speaking as a superpower. So if you had the superpower of public speaking and you weren't afraid to do it, and you were very out and ready to do everything, what would you do with it? And I said that, well, I a lot of times have ideas for writing essays that are very specifically directed mainly towards school boards on how they could improve things. And I would probably just skip, but I never even write the essays, and I would probably just skip the whole writing them and stand on tables and stuff, and just make the speech there in front of the students and start riots and stuff. And it didn't say the start riots part in front of him, because I don't think he'd approve of that. And he said, why don't you write the essays? Why don't you actually just write the essays? And I said, because I've tried it once and it didn't work, because they read it and they were just cool, but I'm just one person, and just one person's opinion doesn't really matter to a whole school board. And he was all the famous people are just one person. Benjamin Franklin was just one person, and famous rock stars, they're just one person, and a lot of other people are just one person. They have support systems and they have people helping them, but they're just one person, which was another thing I found inspiring. I got kind of upset one day, that was part of what I was upset about on Tuesday. This is a different thing. Before he gave us that speech, he asked us what we all wanted to do, what we wanted to do when we got out of school. like, so what we would do when we went to college and why we were taking the class. One person who was sitting behind me talked about doing politics, and every other person in the class was either wanting to be a teacher for kids or a doctor for kids. Everyone. And I was just over here like, I want to be an artist. I want to do art. Well, I was like, so I was kind of really upset because that kind of makes me feel like, I don't know, the thing that I'm doing isn't very important because, like, I know you can help people with art, but I don't know. At the time, it was just really upsetting that I was the only one there who wasn't doing something to actually, like, help people. Which probably says something about me because I don't think about that as much as I think about other things, which is probably not a good thing, but well. At home, I've actually started to do an art piece, and I think I'm going to show you that in a different video, because I'm hopefully going to make a video sort of cataloging how it goes, because I do want to show people this painting. I need to do more art because there's a portfolio viewing in October, like the second weekend in October, and I kind of want to be able to have a portfolio for that, and I feel like I don't have any pieces that are good enough to show a college, so I gotta frantically make some. I've started using MyFitnessPal about like a tiny bit before school started. That's like when I started using it. And when I first mentioned it, my friend, that one that I am continually talking about, kind of got really upset because it sounded to them like I was restricting calories, and that's kind of like an eating disorder behavior. And so they were worried that I was going to have like an eating disorder or something, which I don't feel like I am. I don't feel like that's what's happening, at least not right now. And so for a little while, I actually did eat like an abnormally low amount of calories, but that was only because I had gotten my braces tightened, and so I could only eat soft things, which consists of yogurt and fruit cups, basically. But now my teeth are pretty much back to normal, so my digestive system is trying to not be bitchy, maybe like a little bit sometimes. Some days it is, and some days it isn't. I was actually able to eat breakfast. Like, for a few days, I could not eat breakfast because I felt so sick afterwards. But then I was able to eat breakfast one day, and it was, like, bread and eggs and stuff, which is usually, like, I would only be able to drink a smoothie or something, so that was nice. And I guess it really just depends on what I eat in the day, but I did lose some weight doing it. I lost like 7 pounds, but I don't think that it's actually like that much, because if you think about like comparing the time that I've been using this thing to the amount of pounds that I lost, it's like that's too fast or something, but I don't think so, because I was freaking out a little bit because I went over where my like preferred area to be is over the summer. I was sort of a little bit like, that's my phone, a little bit like, oh, it doesn't matter, you know what, I'm gonna try to gain weight just because I don't want to care about this, which I did, and I ended up actually, like, I did gain weight, but I don't like it, so I'm just trying to go back to where my, like, settling weight was over last school year, which I have reached. And I don't think it was, I think a lot of it was just like that one day I had, like, it was pretty higher than normal, but that was only like that one day because I had just like had a huge meal or something and I was freaking out. So like, I think I only really lost like 3 or 4 pounds that weren't just like water weight and like just regular stuff. So and so I don't think, because like if we go back and look at the calories I've actually eaten and like the calorie thing it gives me, I'm about half the time going over that by, well, I don't know how much is a lot, but the way it looks on the chart is a lot. So I'm not really actually following it. I'm just sort of thinking about the amount of calories in things and then making healthier choices, which I think is actually a good thing because, like it's just being healthy. It's not doing anything like restricting. I'm not like actually restricting. I'm just eating healthier. So then I can look at something and be like, would I like rather have something healthy or something like less healthy? And if I do really want something less healthy, then I will have that and I'll go over and it'll be okay. So it's not really a restricting thing, it's just more of a like being conscious of stuff thing. So, yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to say, but I think that's it for this video, and the rest of the stuff I can put in other videos, so that's what I'm going to do. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So thank you guys so much for watching or listening to this vlog about my life, and have a great day, and I will see you guys all next time. Did I even talk about Friday? Yeah, never mind.